Greetings, Earthlings. We've got the 24 players from Survivor 50, and we're going to put them onto a tier list today. If you are unfamiliar with the tier list, we have the S tier, that's the best of the best, cream of the crop. A tier, solid. B tier, in this one, I only have 5 tiers. I feel like there's not enough people to make any more tiers. B tier is fine. C tier is like, I didn't, you were all right. I didn't really care about you. F is I hated you. And we're going to be ranking these characters slash players. I put in characters because I know these aren't their true selves. This is part of a television product. However, I'm going off 2 criteria: how much I like them as a player and how much I thought they brought to the season. So both of those will be the big factors in how we do this. Let's get into Survivor Season 50 cast tier list. Let's go. Now, this is organized in alphabetical order. I did have to add in the 49 people at the end. Shout out to Jezebels on Twitter. Pretended like they didn't know who was going to be on for 49. Good job there. But I added in Rizzo and Savannah at the end, but this is in alphabetical order. Besides that, so we start off with the one and only Angelina. Now, if this were just an Angelina all-time tier list, she would probably be an S at the top of A. However, on season 50, she admitted to the crowd, in her exit interview, she said, I wasn't playing as crazy as I was before. I was kind of playing a toned down level out there. And I thought Angelina had a really good chance of winning this game when she was out there. Unfortunately, she was not showed a lot on the show. And, that's super unfortunate. Big things were made of that by her and Chrissy. And I think that's completely fair. We were seeing a lot of men early on in the show. A woman did end up winning the season. So that's good in the grand scheme of things. But, I think they had valid points, and they muted them. They muted the pre-jury because they didn't want people to talk about this at the finale. But unfortunately, I think we have to be a little bit stricter on this tier list, just because I think I would give everyone a pretty good ranking besides maybe 1 or 2 people on this cast. So with that being said, I'm going to have to put Angelina in C tier. Sorry, but she was fun. Like, she had moments, but I thought they were a little bit cringy. Like, this is how I opened my Amazon package. Like, that's the one thing that's like sticking in my head of her of the season. I don't know, like, what, she was lazy around camp, according to Q and others. She was a statue. I think he called him specifically, or called her specifically. And I don't know, it felt like a much more toned down version of Angelina. Her and Mike's friendship wasn't even shown at all. It just feels like the producers threw it to the side. And, I like Angelina, but there wasn't like moments that I was like, oh my God, Angelina. I feel like, unfortunately, she was underused on season 50, and it sucks because, they should have had a returning season during the 40s. She'd probably be main star of that, but to come back for this loaded cast in season 50, I think there just wasn't enough space for her. She didn't bring much to the season for me. And, I was kind of middle of the road in her. So that lands her in C tier. And we're off to the races because here we have the winner of Survivor Season 50, Aubrey. I'm conflicted on Aubrey. Like, I genuinely am happy for her that she won. Out of the people left at the final 3, especially, I think, you can make the debate, did she deserve it or did she not? I think, the winner always wins for a reason. But I don't know. There was some really tough Aubrey moments throughout the season. Like, it was hard to root for her. It was the same old song and dance that we've seen 4 times. And, she was hating on my girl Genevieve. She was, kind of down in the dumps, playing from the bottom, which is like a respectable arc. But I really can't put her any higher than B tier. I'm sorry. New Hampshire, shout out. But, like, it's probably going to end up at the bottom of the B tier if I had to guess. I don't know. She was the one, but I think that the show being spoiled, especially a lot of people online talking about how Aubrey was going to win, kind of ruined the surprise from Underdog story. I think that kind of took out from underneath her story. And, I'm not the biggest Aubrey fan, I have to say. So both of those factors land her in the middle B tier. I am happy for her win, though. Like, it is, I think if the people on the jury were saying we need someone with legacy to win this game, it's cool Aubrey won. she had the big moment in Ko Wrong. Now she wins $2 million. Good for her. B tier. Chuck, aka Charlie. I gotta say, Charlie was kind of botted on this season, bro. Really, the rivalry between him and Rizzo was good, but that felt like manufactured by Charlie's side, and also the edit. Like, Charlie was not doing that much out there. I think Charlie was a fun addition to the show, and I think there's more fun stuff off the screen that is intense, like him and Dee's breakdown there. But I think it's him versus Angelina. I think I'm gonna go with Angelina. Like Angelina had better moments. What was Charlie's moment besides just bitching on Rizzo and getting outed in the heated rivalry? Rizzo alphaed him, as they say in the streets, in the Gen Z streets. But I'm not the biggest Charlie fan. I think he definitely deserved to win. Charlie definitely deserved to win season 46. I would have voted for Charlie pretty easily. And he's kind of just a cooler version of me. So maybe that makes me a little bit salty that he gets to be on the show and I don't. I remember watching his audition video when they were doing the tapes of season 46. I was like, that could literally be me. I run. I'm fun. I'm cool. Put me on the show. So maybe it's a little bit of jealousy. I'm admitting that, Charlie, if I'm watching this. Boston guy. I'm local to the New England area as well. But yeah, Charlie on season 50 was a blip in the radar. He gets to go on White Lotus. So there you go. Chrissy. I think we put her with Angelina. Honestly, I put her. Jeez, mute that. We're going to put Chrissy next to Angelina. Sorry for that ad. Because Chrissy has a much more memorable moment when she gets to vote Camilla out of the game. I think that was much more memorable. And, people online ran with the cut from the same cloth stuff. I think it was just a pregame alliance, guys. I don't think it was anything to do with politics, but, we don't like to get in politics on this channel anyway. Christy is someone that I watched her season and I remember being annoyed at the end of it because I didn't like Ben and I was like not the biggest Christy fan either. And I feel like on this season, she was kind of thrown to the wayside as well, unfortunately. Like I feel like she didn't bring much to the table here. Unfortunately, her and Angelina both under-edited, but I really can't put her any higher than C tier. I wasn't really messing with Christy all that much this season. I got to say that. Sorry. Christian was great. I think Christian gets A tier. He was amazing. And the first ever going to tribal council every week, it felt like he was awesome. And, I wasn't a big Christian fan either, but to watch him kind of grow into a Survivor legend in the season, have the duo with Rick Devens was great. And, he's just a cool, fun, like he's an affable guy. I like watching Christian on my screen. He's smart. He's a nerd. He's cool. Like he's a cool nerd. I think Christian was really in control of the season from the start. I think if you look back on this season, this was Christian's season for the first about half of it. A lot of people thought he could do some damage, and he does kind of flame out a little bit at the end, which is unfortunate. And I feel like he kind of gets muted once everyone kind of meets up back together. But those moments of Christian voting out Mike White, like he was running this season, bro. And he was awesome. Like I was rooting for him, as one of these people on this season of Legends. So there you go. Christian, A tier for sure. Suri, I love watching Suri play at reality television. I've watched you in The Traders. I've watched you in Snake in the Grass. I've watched every series. No, I haven't watched. I'm not going to say that because people are going to call me fake. I've watched most of your seasons on Survivor. However, if you've listened to any of my podcasts in this channel before, I went to the Mohegan Sun to find the idol for season 50, waited in line for Suri for 2 hours, and then she ran away at the last second. I know you had a scheduled commitment, but just put that so we know to leave and not wait 2 hours in line. That being said, though, Suri is far and away S tier. Come on. She can't be anywhere else. A fan favorite for a reason. She was awesome. She ran this season like the Navy. It was crazy. Every vote out, she had her fingerprints all over it. And, I think she got her proper due at the reunion last night. And what is there to say about Suri? The best player to never win, best social player in the game, but should have been the biggest target looking at all these people all coming into the season. And she somehow made it to the final 6, bro. Like, come on now. Suri was amazing on this season, and it's unfortunate we don't get to see her win in Survivor history, probably. But it will look kindly on Suri. She's amazing at what she does, and she's the GOAT of never winning. I have to say that. There are some maybe people above her on Mount Rushmore, but Suri, we love you. And it's even watching it, it's like she's a good character on the screen too. She brought everything to the season. So easy one for me. Suri goes in S tier. Coach. Now walk with me here because I think people might disagree with me on this coach ranking. I think Coach brought mad entertainment, and I'm a coach. I tend to like Coach more than others. I think that's a good spot for Coach right there in A tier. Him and Ozzy's drama to start the season off. He kind of I didn't like some of the crash out stuff. Whatever. But this is Coach Wade doing like Tai Chi in his last episode, him being on the hammock, him doing haikus. Like I know people get so annoyed with that, but I was eating it up. I thought it was hilarious. And, that'll come up with somebody else coming up soon. But I honestly thought Coach was hilarious and was a great addition to the show. He's a legend. I thought this was a good run from Coach. made me happy, made me smile, made me proud, man. It's like that meme. I thought Coach was a welcome addition to the season. He gets A tier. He was amazing. It was Coach. Come on now. Don't pretend like you hate him. I know some people do. Colby. If there was one person I could bring back from the pre-merge, well, there was probably 2 or 3 I wanted to bring back with Colby, but this was an emotional exit from Colby. Some people were saying he's checked out in Survivor. Some people were saying he's done. He came back one last time. The boy from Texas, man. And he was the last pre-merger sent out of the game. But before that, he was super fun on the show. Mixed in with the new era. His scenes with Rizzo were great. His scenes with running up the old school lines with Joe and Coach. He seemed like he had a hand all over this game, bro. And I liked Colby on the season, and I think I got to put him. I think he was definitely more affable. Sorry, not D. Sorry, you're coming up next. I liked him better than Coach, and I liked him better than Christian, just being honest. And I think he brought everything to the show. He got a bigger exit than Suri or Coach or anybody. It was emotional night when Kobe got sent out. I was really rooting for Kobe to do well in the season, and he almost made it to the merge, but got swap screwed, and that's that. Super unfortunate. We miss you, Kobe. Come back one more time, please. He won't though. Okay, D. I like D on the season. I think D is just good television in general. I know some people didn't like her on the challenge. I thought she was all right in the challenge, but getting her back in Survivor, I thought she was super fun on the season, especially in her boot episode, running around at Tribal Council, doing everything to make sure that, she wasn't the one being sent home. And she knew that it was against her. Her argument with Jonathan was great. The alliance with Camilla and Tiffany was great. I'm putting her A tier as well. I think Coach does have slightly more memorable moments than her. But D was an awesome addition to the season. We need the winners. So, and she was the winner who made it the farthest of everyone, Kyle Medevac, whatever, but she made it farther than Savannah. So there you go. I don't know. I like D on the season. I like D in general. I don't know if I'm being basic by saying that, but I feel like D brought some welcome addition to the show. And I was ranting in my finale episode, why didn't we hear from D? We got to hear from everybody else. I think D will probably be back for another season, but D was a welcome addition to the season. She was a consistent narrator throughout. She was a big part of the Camilla, or part of the Charlie blind side. And I don't know. I feel like we should have got more of her, but what we were shown of her, it was great. Emily Flippin. Now, this is one where I'm really going to have to, lock in, because Emily was a welcome addition to the show as well, but she could not keep her mouth shut for anything. And it's hard for me to be like, is that good TV or is that just being annoying? And, I think I'm going to put her top of B tier above Aubrey, because I'm not the biggest Emily fan in general. I did like her turnaround in season 45. I feel like that was a good one season arc, but she wanted to get back and be like, I'm bringing good TV. And sometimes that just doesn't vibe well with what I'm trying to do over here, I don't know. Maybe there's a strain or something missing from me and Emily, but I think top of B tier is pretty fair. And she was kind of shelved by the show as well. A lot of women being put on the sidelines, unfortunately. So that does rank into this, because I said, how much you bring to the show, where every time we go on Emily, it's just her spilling a secret, not really what she's thinking or how she's really interacting with the game. But top of B tier, I think, is a fair ranking for Emily. Genevieve. I fell for the trap that everyone was going for. A lot of people on Twitter root for Genevieve, and I kind of saw the vision at the end of season 47. I feel like I don't even be rooting for people in these new era seasons. So I'll just cut and copy. But Genevieve of Operation Italy screwed on this season, but I feel like this was a great showing for Genevieve, and she was one of the people I was rooting for the most. I think she goes S tier. I'm sorry, not sorry. I like seeing her on that Purple Beach, her getting the Billie Eilish Idols. She's a great character, and I think there's more to unpack with her. I don't know if she wants to unpack it on this show anymore. But I liked what we saw to Genevieve, and she got screwed, man. But it was fun to see her play this game for the short bit she was in it. S tier for Genevieve, one of my favorite players in the season, which is great to say, looking at all the people on the season, all these legends. Jenna Lewis, here for a cup of coffee. Unfortunately, I don't think she can go super high, but I did like her exit on the Tribal Council, and I did like her being salty at Rick Devens online. I'm trying to think, either bottom of A tier or top of B tier for Jenna Lewis. Out of respect, I'm putting her A tier, because that's season 1 and she got sent out the door, and I think someone said it, she'd probably be the best person to handle that, because some of these people would be tweaking out if they were sent out first. So A tier for Miss Jenna Lewis. Targeted Suri, she came out of the gates playing, and she knew. You guys were saying, why would you go after Suri so fast? Suri was running this game. Imagine if Jenna got her out. Imagine if people listened. Savannah, Joe. But I digress. Jenna Lewis was fun. I liked at the end when like Ozzy goes to hug her and like I don't even think intentionally she did. I think she mentioned she didn't even do that intentionally to just like blow by him. But he's like, oh, Jenna, and then she's like, oh, standing, how cute, and then like walks out. Like, she's great, but she was only here for a little bit, so she's not one of the top tier characters in the season. And meanwhile, I have 2 pre-mergers in my top 3 right now, but Jenna Lewis was the first boot. So sorry, Jenna. Joe. I will fight and die for Joe Hunter in season 50. In season 48, I did not care about Joe at all. I think actually I need to go back and look where I put him on the tier list in season 48. But Joe was hilarious on season 50, bro. Like, it's one of those people, sorry, Joe, but one of those people you laugh at, not with. Everything he did was just hilarious. Like, he had me geeking, and I don't usually laugh that much in Survivor. I don't know. I don't like the way he plays the game. It's kind of boring. And he's not even that, like, there wasn't even moments where I was, like, hitting on Joe that much. I think it's a stretch to put him in A tier because I don't know. But I think B tier for Joe, like top of B tier. He's hilarious. If you didn't laugh while watching Joe this season, him and Rick's argument, like the whole thing was just hilarious. Him just doing any basic interaction, it was funny, bro. I hate to say, I think people won't like this ranking of Joe, but Joe was hilarious in the season, unironically, or ironically, pretty much. But every interaction, he was one of the better characters in the season, which is crazy to say. So I got Joe top of B tier. Jonathan. Sorry, brother. F tier, and this probably would have been a C tier if it wasn't for the finale where he's just really like celebrating people's faces, like he's a good villain, but he's one that I didn't like. I'm not on team Jonathan, and I even said in my video he probably should have won the game based off game moves. He played the best game of the people there, probably besides maybe Rizzo, but still. He was not likable while doing it. Never really watched a Jonathan confessional. It was like, oh my God, I'm with you. Let's go all the way. Like, there was nothing ever there to be like, I'm team Jonathan on some shit. Like, I was never rooting for him at all in any interest. I was actually kind of annoyed he was on this cast, and he just brought more of the same from season 42, which is an underrated game, but not a game that I'm going to be rooting for at any time soon. So sorry, somebody's got to get the F tier in this Jonathan. So there you go. Camilla. Camilla was also barely on the show, which is unfortunate because I thought she was probably the best character on season 48. I think we put her like below Aubrey because like I liked her more than what these people provided in the season. She had fun confessionals, but she was basically just telling the story of what was like her. She was just a narrator in the season, which is unfortunate. Would love to see more of her, but that just wasn't going to happen. And there's not really much to say. She got to be like the middle vote in that Charlie boot, but there wasn't really much going on with her game, unfortunately. And she was kind of just like a straight line. Like there wasn't really much going on. So I think bottom of B tier is fine for Camilla. I like Camilla, but on the season, not really much going on there. Kyle. Also out super fast, and in season 48, I didn't care much for Kyle, and I wasn't really expecting to like him much on this season at all, just because he won season 48. Like, what are you doing back here? But he came back, so there's that. And I was actually super impressed with what Kyle was able to do in episode 1. Obviously, he gets the knee injury, but that makes him pretty affable. I felt pretty empathetic towards Kyle. Like, now I'm interested to see him come back if he ever wants to come back. Apparently, he watched a lot of television. I listened to him on a Paradise recap. Shout out Robert's podcast. But I don't know. I'm debating like here for him. Like he was there for so short that it's hard to put him any higher. It doesn't have really the memorable moments of Jenna. Just has like he got a cool alliance together, which was nice to see, and like would have been well positioned in the game to work with Genevieve and Q and Colby. Like that would have been interesting to watch. But unfortunately, got that knee injury in the first episode. I did feel bad for him, but it's Kyle. Like he's just like he says himself, he's just an average guy. So he's getting an average ranking on this tier list. Actually, I'm gonna put Emily above him. Sorry. There you go. Ozzy. For me personally, I'm gonna put Ozzy in the C tier. I'm just never really a fan of what Ozzy has to provide in the show. I guess I did like the alliance stuff with him, Suri, and Rizzo, so he gets top of C tier. But like him being a salty loser after he loses last or gets voted out, he doesn't play the idol. It's like he didn't learn, he didn't evolve. Like, and the crazy thing is, I mentioned this in a couple of podcasts. Coming into the season, I thought Ozzy was going to be the winner because I saw Wikipedia. I opened Wikipedia, which I guess was stupid to look at that because it next to Ozzy's name it said winner. So I was under the assumption Ozzy wins somehow. Like maybe Suri gets clipped in the last couple of rounds, he wins, and then when he got voted out, I was in genuine shock. But like during the whole ride, I was like, we're just getting forced with this Ozzy content that I don't care about. Like, well, some of the stuff I do feel bad for him, like his family stuff with his dad. I thought that was great stuff, but like, it's Ozzy. I'm just not a big fan of Ozzy overall. So Ozzy gets the top C tier. Felt like this was kind of a standard run of the mill perform, maybe even his best performance strategically, and it was just because he needed Suri to carry him through the night, and it wasn't working well. So Ozzy gets C tier because there wasn't much for me liking him. He did bring a lot to the season though, so based off that you could move him up, but I like all these people above him better than him, and I'm a team coach in the rivalry. You can't let somebody get a key on Survivor like that, man. But I digress. Q. See, for me, it's so hard for Q because Q is my favorite player on the season, but I knew the second this cast was announced, he was dead on arrival. So I debate, I have Genevieve and S. I'm debating him or Colby. I feel like he was a little toned down, which was fine. Like it was actually cool to see him try and game this thing out, but then he just got screwed by a swap screw tribe, and it's freaking Q, man. He's going S tier. We love Q in this house. Okay. I started out podcasting about season 46. One of my first ever podcasts was about how much I love Q, so I got to respect the man. He'll be back and he'll be better than ever. He just got screwed in the season, but every time I got to see Q, hear from Q, it was great. So it's S tier for Q, but Genevieve and Suri had more of an impact on the season. Stephanie, I really like Stephanie. She's one of my favorite players. I really enjoy her as a character. I think she's awesome, and she's someone I want to live my life like. Psych. Come on now. The perfect package together at the end. Jonathan and Stephanie. Didn't care for Stephanie at all. Easily my least favorite player in the season and maybe the most boring player on the season overall. I said it. Now, think about it. That's a correct statement. What did Stephanie do on the season? She tore her shoulder 5 years ago, so she had to hold the arm up or 10 years ago. Nobody I knew was caring about Stephanie at all. She wasn't even mentioned in anything. She was just a disposable number. No one. What did she do on the season? Name one thing Stephanie did besides that journey that she got lucky enough to go on by herself. She did nothing. And then I'm not a big fan of Stephanie's personality. I think she's kind of like a pick me. That jury stuff was tough. I did not enjoy Stephanie on the season, and she's definitely someone I don't want to see back and was annoyed to see on the season, which is, look at this list. It's very little. I like all these people in C tier. I don't like the people in F tier. Sorry, Stephanie, if you ever watch this. Rick Devens. Now, if I was podcasting around the time of Edge of Extinction, I'd have Rick Devens in the F tier, maybe even below Stephanie on this specific tier list. However, watching this season, Rick understood the assignment, bro. Rick gets S tier. He was fun to watch. He was amazing. He was making good TV, and that's all you can ask for out of someone like Rick Devens, who you don't have high expectations for at all. It's like, look at him and Ben Driebergen, because I compare both of them. I did not like watching either of them. They just fling idols around, get immunities, and are like, making presentation stuff. I did not like that style of gameplay. But Rick was like super different in the season, just doing it for the joy. And I mentioned last night he might be a shill for Survivor. Sorry, but he's a good one though. I was with you, Rick, this whole season. I thought he was a great addition to this cast. Crazy that he was an alternate for this season, but we're glad you're here, Rick. You provided great stuff. The fake idol, being at tribal council and just calling facts out openly was great. And I'm open to see Rick Devens playing again. I think he's a great addition to any cast. He has fun with it. And, he knows he's probably not going to win, but he tries his damn best. And if he's at the bottom, he's going to let you know about it. He makes interesting TV. He makes interesting gameplay. The Mr. Beast coin flip, it's impossible to not have Rick Devens in the S tier after this season. So, Rick, you flipped in my heart. You went from F tier probably to S tier. Okay. Tiff. Probably the least worthy. Jeff did ask her, like, what did it feel like to get that call last night? Um, I like Tiff a lot in this season. She was just kind of just muted throughout the first half. She's definitely better than Jenna. Probably better than I probably liked her more than Coach by the end of it. So I think that's probably a fair ranking. Like, she did less to annoy me than Coach did. So I think Tiff goes right in the middle of A tier. Tiff was a great addition to the season, and she played well. She got with Suri. She had a good alliance with D. Like, no, everyone liked her. She probably would have won at the end. And that's crazy to say walking into the season, like, that Tiffany would have the most respect with the final five. So good job to Tiff. I was watching actually her YouTube video the other day. Don't know how she's allowed to post those, but I was watching them, and she's got some good reactions. She's interesting. She's a great character. Let's see more Tiff. I think we will see Tiff again and sometime soon. But that was a great season from Tiff. Great performance, 5th place, and tough when you lost that immunity challenge. I was annoyed. I wanted to see Tiff make it to the end, but I knew it was probably unlikely. Mike White. Unfortunately, it's a C tier for me. I think Ozzy provided more. There were some fun Mike White quips in there, but I just don't remember any of them at this point. Maybe I think we put next to Angelina, actually, because Chrissy does have that one memorable moment. So Mike White gets C tier. Didn't think he brought much to the season. I think he just got the call because he's famous and Jeff loves him. And he went out early. He, what is there to say? He masterminded the Q blind side. He took out my favorite player. Maybe there's a little bit of saltiness there, but I don't know. I don't feel like Mike White really provided much on this season, in my opinion. And we didn't need to cast him. I know he loves the show, but we didn't need him. I said what I said. R-I-Z-G-O-D, Riz God Baby, the man, the myth, the legend. Now, don't flame me for this take, okay? Rizzo was running season 50 and was a big part of why the season was great. Is that egregious? Is that crazy? He's cringy at times, but he made the show great. I don't know. No, I can't put him that high. I think him and Devins is a good pair. I'll put him there. Rizzo was awesome in the season. I thought Rizzo played the best game of anybody. He should have won. I was rooting for him. Gen Z lifestyle, comes in from season 49, plays in 65 days of life. He's playing 20 or 50 something on Survivor. He is a legend. I don't know why this isn't cooperating with me now. Get off this ad. Jeez, dude. The man, the myth, the legend gets S tier, bro. Rizzo, we love you. He did awesome on the season, and I would never have expected that ranking every single castaway from season 50 to have Rizzo at number 4. But it happened. I liked watching Rizzo in the season. Wins the rivalry against Charlie, forms the Suri's Wizard of Oz, which that with Alliance was running the game, and I was much more affable towards Suri and Rizzo than Ozzy. But Rizzo had his fingerprints all over this game, and it was exciting to see. I think he was really playing the best game out there this time. Season 49 is debatable, but we liked Rizzo on the season, and it was great to see it, buddy. And he gets S tier because he was one of my favorites in the season. Savannah. I thought this was a fine performance from Savannah. Nothing really too bad or too good. I think it's very impressive on her part to survive a tribal council when she could have easily been the first one voted out. I look at the people on B tier, and I'm like, I think her and Kyle is a good match. Maybe, I think I like Savannah more. I think Savannah right here in the middle of everything. I like her more than Kyle. I think she brings more to the show, and I don't know. She was fun. Her apparently she asked Kobe about the Zoom Alliance. She's not afraid to take chances, and she had her little emotional moment of being voted out for the first time. And she's a fun presence online. That might be another factor into it too, where I'm like, I see her videos, I'm like, oh, Savannah's cool. I like Savannah. So I think that's a tier list, guys. So let's go through it. I think I'm actually pretty happy with how this turned out overall. S tier, we got my favorites in the season, the people I was really, really rooting for. Obviously, all of them came up short. Suri, it's Suri. Genevieve, great performance. Screwed by Blood Moon. Q wasn't there for a long time, but he was there for a good time. Rizzo and Devins, both two people I was kind of medium on. I think I put Rizzo in A tier last season, but Rizzo and Devins, two people I wasn't super high on coming into the season, and they both changed my opinions of them, and now they're on my S tier, two of my favorites. I want to see them come back. A tier legends that cemented themselves and had a great season, in my opinion, and people I liked: Colby, Christian, Tiff, Coach, D, and Jenna. B tier, people that I thought were mostly fine or had like moments here and there. Joe was annoying as hell, but he was funny as hell, just being himself. So I have to put him at the top of B tier. Emily, with not being able to keep a secret, kind of having that like rogue mentality. Savannah, not there for a long time, but a good presence. Same with Kyle. Aubrey, not one of my favorites, but not someone I disliked at all. Camilla, same sort of thing. C tier, these people, not my favorites in the season. Didn't think they brought much to the table. Ozzy, I think, that's probably hypocritical of me to say about Ozzy not bringing much to the table, but I was not a big fan of Ozzy in this season. Chrissy, same sort of thing. Mike, didn't bring much. Angelina didn't bring much. Charlie didn't bring much. Charlie and Mike, or Charlie and Angelina under-edited as well. So unfortunately for them, that kind of probably degrades their ranking because they probably were doing more stuff that we just didn't get to see. And then the F tier, the people I did not like in this season: Jonathan and Stephanie. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. That's where I land on this side of things. So there's my tier list for Survivor Season 50. What do you guys think of this tier list? What would you change? Who's too high? Who's too low? Or did I get it perfectly? I'm pretty happy with how this turned out for myself. So that's my tier list for Survivor Season 50. And that wraps up my Survivor Season 50 coverage. It's been a long season. Not really. It flew by. Feels like just yesterday I was at the Roger Williams Park Zoo looking for the idol, being so excited for the season. Did the season deliver? Not really. Kind of crash landed at the end, but it is what it is. And we need more returners. So I'll say this was a great season. There you go, Jeff. So catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for sticking along the whole video. Thanks for watching all my videos this season for Survivor. It's been great seeing you guys on TikTok, comment, and then the YouTube videos as well. I'm getting some good clicks and stuff and some good comments. So always like your comments. Willing to argue with you or agree with you in the comments if you have something to say about this tier list. Curious to hear your thoughts. Let me know down below. Subscribe if you want to see more for Survivor Season 51, the Open Era, or anything else I do here: TV shows, movies, and sports. So stay tuned, and as always, be easy, y'all.